visualization is really important tools, and we need this skill to be able to plot result, visualize raw data. After converting data to information, or even converting to knowledge using machine learning, or converting to information using descriptive statistics, that is the one of the topic at week 8 and 9. And you need to visualize result, right? For decision making, for, let's say, for memorizing, and so on. And as I said, usually at top levels, I mean, including managers, they would like to get your result, after your coding, after your implementation and result findings, they want to see the result in a graph, in a plot. It's easy to remember, is easy to decide. So there are several packages, or let's say tools, for plotting. So one of them, and the widely used one, we call matplot library. So there are extensive options and control over data and plots. And pandas visualization. Pandas is a library in Python, and we'll cover pandas within these 2 weeks here. Pandas, right? I will cover pandas within these 2 weeks. So, and then we will see how we can plot using pandas. So we will work with these two because they are widely used. And also we have 3 more libraries, one called Seaborn. So Seaborn, we can create complex plots. So I want to give you a few examples that what sort of complex plot you can do with Seaborn. And if you want to work with matplot and Seaborn, you just need to simply import library, like import matplot.pyplot as PLT and import Seaborn as SNS. So anywhere you see PLT means this is matplot library. If you see SNS means we are working with Seaborn library. And we have a very advanced interactive visualization tools called Bokeh and Plotly. So these are, guys, very advanced. And let's say if you want to plot something like Google Map, right? And then you can work with Bokeh or Plotly. So they give you this opportunity to to interact with object in the visualization. So that's the reason it's really advanced. And by the way, I mean, if you're interested if you would like to see how to plot something like Google Map, and you can have a look to Bokeh and Plotly tools. By the way, we usually use these two, matplot library and pandas visualization. So let's do a start. So the easiest one, the first chart we call line chart. So PLT here, I want to do it with matplot. So line chart, as you can see here, guys, for chart, we need, since this is 2-dimensional, we need data for X and we need another data for Y. So X and Y. So how to do so for X and Y means we need 2 sorts of data. So here is example that I have a list of month, January, February till December, and I have the number of flights. Let's say there are 112 flights during January, 118 during February, and so on. So the thing is, guys, I want to plot this data. So if you want to plot them like line chart means like this one, means to connect these points, these points together. So how to do so? It's simple. You have to say PLT means, means this one, PLT, because I imported matplot like as a PLT. So PLT.plot. So you have to specify X and Y. So X and Y means what sort of data you want to print out for X-axis and which data for Y-axis. So if you say month and flights, and then it's going to visualize, this line. And if you see, say January is 112. So can you see that? January 112. February is the second point, is here, Feb, and 118. And if you follow this one, is gonna be here, right? 118, and it's going to connect them, these points together, and you can see something like that. So guys, by this figure we can simply say, okay, the minimum number of flights are within November, right? And the maximum would be during July and August, right? July and August. So can you see how visualization is easy to, to gain well enough information? I mean, through this figure, we can add a label for X and label for Y and the title. So if you say dot title, you can add the title like flights per month, right? And if you say plt.x label means which label you want to put here. I said month, and then flights, right, would be here. And it's really simple chart that we can do that. So maybe the actual points are not readable from this chart, but I mean we can add more information. So if you want to go through seaborne, so you have to say SNS. So here you have to say line plot. So here we said plot in PLT, but for SNS we have to say line plot. So, and also here you have to say X and Y. X is month, Y is flights, but here we didn't mention X and Y. We directly use month and flights. And also, I mean, like title, X label, and so on, you have to say P. I mean here, because I said this plot I call P because I want to set values, and then P dot set, and then and so on. So as you can see, even for this simple visualization, Matplotlib provide user-friendly syntaxes, and that's the reason Matplotlib is really widely used tools for plotting. So, but by the way, this is example to see the difference between seaborne and Matplotlib. Okay, let's move on, guys. We have formats. We can apply these formats for line chart. For instance, you can define the style of the line, like use solid line, use dash dot, use dotted, and point, pixel, and so on. And for marker, you can define like triangle marker, down, triangle down, triangle up, and different marker. And also we have color. So you can define the color of the line to be blue, green, red, and so on. So let's apply these formats. So I mean, the first one, plt.plot, if you remember, we used only month and flights. So now we can add format. So R means red, so it means the color would be red. And then can you see there are two dashes, means connect them with these dashes. And then this, I mean, this symbol, what is that? This is triangle right marker. So means show the points with this marker. So now is more, let's say is more visible, is more readable. So here you can see this is January 1, this is February 1, this is March 1, and so on. So, and the rest is similar. We just need to add, this one here. But if you want to go ahead with seaborne, it's not really user-friendly as compared to Matplotlib, because you have to say X is month, Y is flights, marker is this one, color is red, and you have to add them one by one. But here in Matplotlib, you can put them all together, right? So, I mean, guys, there is no any order. You can put dashes and then R and so on. So there is no difference. So as you can see, we have three formats: color, marker, and the line style. So you can use three of them. You can use one of them. You can use both. I mean, 2 out of 3 is up to you that how you want to. You can shuffle, these formats. There is no any order. So, and then at the end you can see that. So for title, I want to use flights per month, but I want to increase the size of the font. It's gonna be 20 because here it was a small size here. Flights per month and flights. I want to increase the size, and for that reason you would say font size 20, and that's the reason it's a bit bigger. Font size 15 for X label for month, and also for Y label flights again 15. So from now on, we just, I mean, we want to work with matplots, and I want to remove seaborn because for this simple visualization, matplot is much better. And but seaborn, we have to use seaborn for some other practices that I want to give you some hints about that. So line chart with multiple lines. So let's say I have more than one flight. Let's say I have two flights, and I want to visualize both of them in one plot. So it's easy, just say plt.plot month and flight one. So guys, how to separate them? You have to use this format. So for first one, use red color, this, this triangle sign, and then two dashes. So, and you can see that this is the red one. And for second one, if you use both of them back to back, it's going to put them, together in one plot. So month again is a x axis, and y axis will be flights 2, means this one, second one, and it's gonna be blue. So I mean this circle one, can you see that this circle, these are the points, and then dash means a solid line. Can you see that is a solid line? So, and also I want to keep X label and Y label, 15 and 15, and these are the text. So legend, guys, we need legend because if we don't use legend, then we don't know what is red one and what is the blue one. So we have to use legend to say the first plot means this one is flights 1 and second one is flights 2. That's the reason we have here. It's gonna say the first line using these dashes with triangle sign, and red color is flight 1, and this one, second one, is flight 2. So if you add look in, I mean, after this one, if you say, let me see, can I draw here? Yeah, I mean here, if you say comma here, and then if you say, let me try with my pen, and then if you say look like 2, look 2 means the location of the legend. Look 2 means upper left. It's going to bring, this one here, upper left. But if you don't say anything about, the location of legend, it's going to put it on, on upper right. I mean, this is the default location. So, and also you can see, these are different locations that you can move legend around. So, bar chart. So bar chart, so guys, there are like 5-6 type of chart that we need to know, what sort of activities or what sort of actions they do. So bar charts are used to display values with categorical data. So categorical data is like here, I mentioned it like dictionary. So guys, I mean, within the lectures, I try to use different ways of coding, right? To be able to use different aspects of codes, syntaxes, and so on. So because dictionary we practiced, week 1 and week 2, and it's better to use them, frequently to remember what sort of, advantages they can provide. So like here, data, I have a dictionary format of data, like apple is 67, mango is 60. Let's say these are the number of fruits, orange is 28. So bar chart means I want to print out, or let's say I want to visualize these numbers in the categorical format. So in this case, I have to use bar chart. So as you can see, it's going to be like bar, right? These are the bars. So how to do so? You have to say plt.bar. So previous one, we used plt.plot, right? Plot means line chart. But here we are using plt.bar, means bar chart. So for bar chart, we have to add, as you can see, we have to say X means X label, and height means, the size of the bar. So here we do not say X and Y, right? We ignore to use X and Y. We say X and height, right? Because we have to say that the height of the bar. So plt.bar. So for X, we have to extract these, these keys. How to extract them? With data.keys, you can extract them. And by data.values, you can extract the values 67, 60, and 28. So simply say X is names, so apple, mango, and orange. And values are, the height is values. This is 67, this is 60, and this is 28, right? These are simple. So also this one, the previous one, also this one you can visualize like a bar chart, because month is like category, means January, February, these are category, and these are values. So if you want to do that, you have to say, if you say plt dot bar, right, and then you have to say the X is month, right, and the height for first one is flight one, right, and then in this case you can see the result in the bar format in this visualization. So let's move on. Here there are several genres of movies released from 2007 to 2017. So we want to visualize. Let's say these are my data, right? Label movies, adventure, action, drama, comedy, and so on. So number of movies, 941 for adventure, 854 for action, and so on. So guys, as you can see here, I'm using function. As I said, I want to use, different ways of coding. To be able to work with all of them within lecture and tutorial. So here I want to declare a function to plot bar movie. So to plot a bar, we need two values, is X, here we call label, and height, here I call counter. So as you can see, this is plt.bar, the second one, this one. plt.bar X label, so we have to see what is X label, and counter. So here I called function pl plot bar movie label movies, means this one, and then number of movies, this one. So counter is simply number of movies, so we know counter. What about X label? So X label is it says range length of label. So what is the length of label? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So is range 11. So what values range 11 creates? Guys, this is a practice from previous week. It's going to generate values between 0, going one by one, reaching to number 10, right? These are the values. So if you say plt.bar X label counter, it's gonna be, for first one is gonna be 0, 1, 2. It's gonna to add these numbers like to end. So, but here we have plt.x ticks. So guys, you can simply use the previous one, but I want to give you, other ways of working with X axis and Y axis. If you want to change X ticks, this one, you have to say, please, X labels, that this is X labels, right? Use label instead of that. What is label? Labels are this one. Use label. Simple. And use font size 10 and rotation 45 degrees. And that's the reason you can see these are rotated. And the title, and then show. Guys, once we use show means, let me show you something here. Yeah, here, can you see this one, this output? If you don't use .show, it's going to generate, some information like here and like here, right? So if you want to ignore showing this, this information, you can use .show, and then it's gonna to ignore it. So this is bar chart. So again, for bar chart, also you can visualize more than one chart. So if this is, one set of data, this is second set. So if you say plt.bar x1 y1, so x1 is number 1, so it means this is number 1, This is number 2, this is number 3 and 4. And can you see that these are numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And also then you can use the second bar to plot x2 and y2. Guys, it's somehow we can say it's not understandable in terms of x values, because it's going to say 1 is number 5, let's say second item is 8, third item is 2, and so on. That's the reason we usually use bar chart for categorical data to be able to interpret data. So if you have a category, if your data has category, if your data has label, if your data has, feature name, it's better to use bar chart. In this case, we can interpret data simply. And yeah, if you want to rotate your plot, this bar chart, if you want to rotate it, something like this, in horizontal view, it's simple. You just need to say bar and then add H. If you add H, it's going to do something like this to present, or let's say visualize your data horizontally, not vertically. So this is what exactly we need to do for bar chart. So till now we practice with line chart and bar chart, two type of chart. So let's say I want to draw multiple charts in one figure, like this one, like this chart, right? This is one plot, but we have let's say there is one figure, but we have 4 plots inside the figure. So how we can do that? So guys, we have to use this syntax, plt dot subplot, number of rows, number of columns, and index. So let's see how does it work. Let's say I want to visualize 4 plots. So to do so, I have to create a table like this one. This is a table into 4 parts. So that's the reason, 2 number of rows and 2 number of columns, and 1 as I say is the index. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is number 4. So how to put plot here? I have to say this one. plt.subplot 2 and 2 means with this table with 2 rows and 2 columns, I want to plot my data in first cell. Here in first cell. So, and then you can simply say plot and plot your visualization. Here I created the random data because guys, I had no data. In this case, I prefer to use random sample. So random sample, I did it last week. So range 100 means from 0 to 99, right? 0 to 99. So please give me random sample 20, number of random sample between 0 and 99. So that's the reason. Here this one is gonna to generate. So for instance, first value is 50, like maybe 51, second one is 24, third one is about maybe 80, and these are the values we have been made. And yeah, and then I said please have red color and use this line, use this line dash dot, and you can see that dash dot, and so on. And use asterisk for points. Use asterisk for points. So we can do, for this second cell. So I have to say 2, 2, 2, right? 2 and 2 means this one, this plot, or let's say this figure, and second room. Second room is here. So for second room, I want to plot another sample, right, with this combination, blue color, single line, or let's say solid line, and S means square. So can you see that these are square? And this is for third room, and this is for last room. Can you see that? Third room and fourth. So again, guys, there is no any order. you can shuffle. For instance, you can visualize this one firstly. If you want, you can visualize this one and then this one, and the last one is this, right? And if you don't, let's say if you don't use this one is gonna be empty, right? It's gonna be like these plots without cell number 4, right? And these are the practice we need to do, guys. I mean, if you have time between, let's say, today to Thursday, please make sure to practice, these syntaxes in Google Colab or anywhere you have Python editor. And otherwise, we have to practice it, within Thursday. And drawing multiple charts in one figure. So this is another way that we can do that. So let's say these are my data. I have one, single data, and this is a data. I extracted names and values from dictionary because data is dictionary. So another way is to do something like this. PLT dot subplots means 1 row, 3 columns, right? This is 1 row, and this is room 1. But here we have to say this is room 0, room 1, and room 2. There are 3 rooms, 1 row is like something like this, right? Is this one. 1 row and 3 columns. So fixed size is 9.3, means 9 inches. This is 9 inches, right? And this is 3 inches, right? And then simply you would say this one, plt.subplots will return to output. So that's the reason I used fig and axis. Also, you can put it inside list. I mean, it's no difference. So then I want to say this one, axis 0, use bar chart. So ax 0 bar chart. That's the reason you can see bar chart. Ax scatter means provide dot plots, right? For each observation, use dot plot. That's the reason we say scatter plot. And the color, use light blue. For third one, index 2, I mean, use plot. So plot means line chart, right? You can use line chart. Also, this is another way that you can draw multiple charts. Let me see. Any question? Boys, girls? Okay, it seems easy. I do hope it's I'm delivering easily. So, but you only need to do practice. That's it. This is all the thing you have to do. So pie chart. So pie chart, this is the third chart, right? So this chart is going to show the size of the items in one data series. Is it gonna be like proportional to the sum of the items? So this is the way we can show pie chart. So, and this pie chart start from here, right? Start from here, and you can rotate it. You can rotate the star, but it's moved counterclockwise. So it's going to have, three, let's say 4 important inputs. X means values, labels means how you want to visualize them, colors, you can see the colors of data, and auto PCT, that I want to show you that what is that. This is somehow the format of data you want to visualize. And let's take you here to see what's going on. So pie chart. So I have 4 labels. So guys, for any type of chart, you need 2 data. One is X, one is Y, or one is X, another one is height for bar chart. For pie chart, you need label and data, or let's say label and size. So, I mean, we need 2 sorts of values. So label, frog, hog, dog, and log, right? These are label, and size. These are the size, 15, 30, 45, and 10. So explode, I want to tell you what is explode. So, and also here, here I used subplots, but we are not really, also we don't need to use subplot. Okay, here you would say plt.py and plt dot, really sorry guys for this bad handwriting, you have to say plt dot pi, right, and then the rest, and plt dot axis, you know, and so on. So plt.py, we have to say size. So size is the values, but as you can see, it's going to say 15 is here, is 15% of the whole values, right? It's going to say 15 divided by the sum of the values, right? So let's say log, and if you see that is 15 plus 30, 45, 45 by 40 is 90, 90 plus 10 is 100. Since this is the summation is 100, is going to say the first one is 15 because we have to calculate the portion of frog is 15%. As you can see, is 15%. And also the size of this is 15%. And second one is 30%. It's here, right? Is here. And dog is 45%, and this is the way you can visualize. So explode means how you want to to separate them, to put them a bit far from each other. So I want to say first one 0 means no distance. The second one is 10%. Can you see that there is there is, let's say there is a space, means extract this part, right? This slice, extract this slice 10% out of others. You can extract it a bit out of the rest of the data. And 0 0 means we don't need to extract them, we keep those slices putting together. And labels, these are the labels, means use labels. So auto PCT means, so the first, I mean, percent sign is based on the syntax, and then we have to say we have to add two values. So first value is for the integer part, so we don't need to touch integer part, we use dot to go to the decimal part. So decimal part, I want to say show 1 digit in the decimal part, and as you can see there is 1 digit and this is 0. And then F means float and sign. So this is, the syntax we have to use. But if you want to add more decimal, let's say 3 digits in decimal, you have to say 3, right? And then you can show more digits in decimal. So shadow is true because if you see here, hoax has a bit shadow. Can you see that is a shadow? And start angle is 90. So 90 means if you see here, start is here. When I say 90 means start, from here, start data from here, right? Start from here because I rotated 90 degrees. So that's the reason the first data, which is frog started from here, right? This is the start point. And then it's gonna to rotate. First is frog, then is hog, then is dogs, and then logs, right? It's gonna be in order. So this is another example. Let me change the color. Okay, this is another one. Let's say label, sizes, color. So here I want to have my own color. So gold, yellow, green, light coral, and so on. So explode 10% for each, and as you can see, there is 10% of each distance. So plt.py sizes. So once you use sizes, it's going to say 215. So it's going to say 215 for first one. It's going to be divided by 215 plus 130 plus 245 and plus 210. So the result of this is 26.9, right? So the size is 26.9. Explode is 10% out. This slice, great. Label is labels, means use Python. So color, use gold. So it's gold. And auto PCT. So can you see here? I said in the integer part, So if you use 1, 2, 3, 4, there is no difference. That's the reason you can leave it alone, or let's say leave it empty, or add any number. But the most important part is the decimal part. Here I said number 1 means only show 1 digit. Can you see there's only 9, 2, 6, and 2, right? Only 1 digit, and provide it as float, and then this sign, this percent sign, shadow true, and start angle 140. That's the reason start here, right? This is the start point. This is a start, because and then it's going to rotate and complete this pie chart. So here we use plt.axis equal. So guys, equal means sometimes I mean, once you want to plot your data, it's not really let's say good looking. It's not really user friendly. So if you use equal, it's going to put them exactly like a circle. Like if you don't use that, maybe these slices gonna be not in this well organized order. So if you use equal, it's gonna to put them all in the well organized visualization. So and then plt.show to ignore those unnecessary information, and this is pie chart. Want to go through the scatter plot. So scatter plot, I mentioned it here. Let me find it. Yeah, here. So scatter plot is going to to add dot. Yeah, use dot for each for each point, or let's say for pair of point. So pair means here is Java as and 35. This is a one pair, Python and ATS and so on. So when you say dot scatter, it needs two inputs X and Y. So it's going to add one dot, for each observation. That's it, right? This is what exactly scatter plot does. So, but if you want to connect them, by line, it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be line chart. So the difference of line chart and scatter plot is scatter plot has no connection. That's the only difference. Is only visualize dots for each pair of point. So scatter plot here. So okay, this is PLT, and then we have NumPy here. So NumPy is a library. There are, I mean, NumPy has different methods for data manipulation and so on. And one method inside NumPy is random. So random.rand. That's the reason I'm using that. So let's see what is that. So guys, here I'm generating random data. So np is NumPy np.random.rand. So .random.rand 40 means generate 40 values between 0 and 1. Okay, between 0 and 1 is going to be X, then Y is going to be another one. So let's say, I mean, this is just example. Let's say the first one, let's say the first one is 1.2, 1.31, second one, and so on. And for Y, this is X. So for Y is going to be like, I don't know, let's say 4.51 and so on. So something like this. And then we have another one, Z. We have to see what is that. So use a scatter plot. So PLT does scatter X and Y. So for instance, this one is going to be maybe 0.1 and 0.11, something like this, because we don't know exactly what is this random. If you want to see what is this random values, you have to print X. Just print X and see what is the values. So for each point, we have a circle, or let's say we have one dot, right? One dot for each observation, X and Y. So guys, can you see these are not really a dot? These are bigger than dot. These are like a circle. So like bigger circle, small circle, smaller circle, and so on. Because in a scatter plot, you can change the size of the dot. How to do so. There is S means size, So again, I made for the size, I generated another 40 random data, and I multiplied them by 1000, to make it bigger, right? Since these are random, that's the reason. The few of them are small size, few of them are large size, and alpha is going to say how data can be transparent. 50% means these are 50% transparent, right? And that's the reason. And you can see some conflict between data because of the size. When you increase the size, they're going to cover each other. Or you can use, again, the same concept for data, and for color, I want to generate, the new color for each point. Since I have 40 points, for that reason, I have to create 40 colors, right? And in this case, you have to say again X and Y and size and then color. And as you can see, these are different colors. So, and each circle has different colors. So only practice to see how to create a scatter plot and how to change the size of each dot. Maybe you never use that, but in some scenarios, let's say some applications, you may need to use that. So I remember from one of my paper I published like 9 years ago out of my PhD work. I tried to visualize attacks, within devices. Like I had about 10 routers and 8 switches. Is a networking devices. These are networking devices, and I tried to visualize that how many attacks are within these hardware. And what I did, I tried to use a scatter plot, and I used each dot for every single hardware. Means I had 20 dots. Each dot provides one specific hardware, and I tried to show that which hardware is more susceptible to attack, to abnormal traffic. And then I use these different sizes to show the bigger size means is under attack, very risky, and then smaller size of these circles means is normal traffic, there is normal traffic. So that visualization was really nice visualization for end users, for anyone who would like to understand what is the result of my research. So yeah, it depends that how you want to visualize your data. So histogram, it's another nice visualization. It's going to represent the frequencies of values, right, into the range. What does it mean? So for this one, in part, for histogram, we need only one data. So for former plots, we need to use two values, X and Y, but here histogram needs only one sort of data. So these are my data, 1, 10, 7, and so on. If you say plt.hist means histogram data and bins 8. Bins means the number of bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to create 8 bars, and it's going to distribute the frequencies of values. So what does it mean? It's going to say somehow between 0 and 5, we have 3 numbers. Between 0 and 5, we can count them 1, 0 to 0 to 5, 2, 0 to 5, and 3, 0 to 5. Can you see we have 3 values between 0 and 5? So between 5 and 10, we have 8 values. So you can count them, right? There are 8 values between 5 and 10. And between 15 and 20, there is no value, right? That's the reason it's empty. There is nothing, because between 15 and 20, there is no values. But if you want to see what is exactly these these ranges, what is the minimum of range and the maximum of range, is the range is going to show you here. It's going, the first one is between 0 and 1. Oh, sorry, means this one means the first one here. Let me change the color here. So here is number one. So what about here? It's point, you know, point 5.8. So what about this one? This one is 10. I'm guys, I'm showing you the range, the minimum one and the maximum one. So this one is 15, so it's going to show us exactly the range. This is 20, this is 25, and this is 30, right? And this is that one, and last one is 40, right? Is exactly here, right? I mean, with this way you can see what is the, I mean, the range between, you know, these bars. So nice one, because we can see how data distributed, and simply we can find out there are more values between 5 and 10, and between 15 and 20, and between 25 and 35 there is no value. Really nice I mean, visualization. So global formatting. So global formatting means you want to apply some parameters constantly over a plot. So like I want to use font size 20 for anything, for title, X label, Y label, for text inside that. I want to use anything like, I mean, for font, I want to use Tahoma. Means anything writing, I mean, across the plot, I want to use Tahoma. And also for axis label color, use blue. So anything related to axis label color, use blue color. So these are, I mean, constant you want to use for all plots. How to do so? You have to call PLT again, and these, you know, parameters .rc params .update, and then you can define font size, font family, and axis. So if you want to see how many parameters there are, you can use this one, plt.rc_param.keys, and it's going to tell you how many. I guess there are more than 200 parameters that you can set them as, you know, global parameter for plotting. Like figure title size, the default size is large. If you want to change the title size, you can use extra large, you can use, you know, medium size, and so on. And also, once you have done your job, please make sure to return everything to the default one. Otherwise, I mean, anytime you wish to plot, it's gonna to take, you know, these configurations. But after your job, it's better to reset to the default, and then it's going to set back to the default. So let's take example. So here we have another function. This is another nice function we call line space. But this is wrong. This is S. Line space or line space. So this is a function, really nice function. Let's see how does it work. This function gets three inputs. Start like a 0 here, and stop means the last item, your last value, and number 5. Number 5 means divide data into the same portions. That's the reason. You know, this is 1 part, 2, 3, and 4, because we can generate 5 items, or let's say, sorry, 5 values: 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. So it means create 5 values fairly, you know, between 0 and 100. That's the reason: 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100. And the distance of each value between each values, let's say they are 25, right? And this is really nice one. So because we try to work with random, so random is going to generate random value, but with lean space, you can somehow control your, you know, your random values. So by saying where is the start value, where is the stop value, and then how many value you want to generate fairly out of, you know, this range, start and stop. Okay, let's take this example. So here I set these parameters, global parameters. So here because yeah, for lean space, you have to use again NumPy library. So MP line space means between 0 and 20, generate 10 values. So that's the reason, as you can see, it says 0 and then 2.22, 4.44, 6.66, because it's going to fairly distribute values, 10 values between 0 and 20. And these are my values. And then I want to print them out by line chart. So plt.plot x is the x label, and x power 2 is the y label. And how to show with red color, this one, red color. And the second one I want to, plot it by, let's say to power it by number 3. So, and that's the reason this is blue one. So x label. So x label. So can you see that I want to visualize this symbol, this alpha. How to do so, guys? We have to, for symbols, you have to use a staller. So between a staller, you can use math. So alpha is somehow from math library. So here you can say math. So what is the math here? Alpha. If you type alpha, it's going to show, the alpha sign. So R means regular expression. So I guess in Python 2, we don't need that to use, but in Python 3, we have to use that. To means that there is a regular expression using, the math formula. But we can try in tutorial session to check if we remove R, does it work or not? I guess it does work. So also for Y label, I want to show, Y. So guys, if you use Y, only Y, this one, it's going to print out Y. But if you put it between the stallers, it's going to visualize it like a math input, right? That's the difference. So, and then legend. So here I said the first one is x power 2 and second one is x power 3. So guys, can you see I said look 2 means put it in upper, here upper left, put it there. Why I put there? Because here is busy. I don't want to put them all together to make it as like a messy visualization. I put it here because here we have more spaces. And this is about this one and Seaborn library. So guys, these are all plots available, not all of them, but let's say the majority of plots in Matplot. We usually use these 7-8 plots for visualization. They are well enough to do so. As you could see, the plots are symbol plot. Let's say not good looking. Why not good looking? Because I'm comparing Matplot with Seaborn library. So as you can see, Seaborn library visualize, somehow user friendly, somehow beautiful plots. This is the big difference between Seaborn and Matplot. Matplot, visualize simple plots. Seaborn visualize, user friendly or let's say beautiful plots. If you want to work with that, you can go through this link and check the examples and you can work with that. So let me go through this source. If you go through this source and then there are different plots, right? You have to understand these plots one by one. Then you can use them. For instance, I want to visualize this one, line plot. If you click on line plot, it's going to give you example. Say, okay, if you want to have this line plot, you have to use this one, this line plot. And these are the syntax. So guys, syntaxes are really easy. You just need to see which plot you would like to apply and then go ahead with like a violin plot, and then you just need to understand what is that and then visualize it. So for this one, line plot, let's take it as example. So for line plot, we have to import library. Yeah, we have to import library. Let me change the color. And then we have to say the dark grid is the theme of this plot. And then load data. So guys, here you can also load data. SNS.load data set. You can load files. So fMRI. This is also available in it's here, fMRI. And what is fMRI? Yeah, here, if I open it. Yeah, this is, this is a file, say subject, time point, even region, signal, this is a data. Okay, so let's see how we can visualize it. So it says use line plot. So X means, here, right? X is time point, means this one, time point, right? And then Y is signal, so is this one signal, because these are only, the numbers that I can take them out. So, and then use hue region. So what is region? Region is this one. So what does it mean? It means if you filter it, can you see there are only two regions? So hue means separate them in the visualization with hue color. Can you see that? This one, this blue one, so it's going to generate two lines. So the first line is, the region 1, this one, and this color one is region 2, right? So we can simply divide them, yeah? We could simply divide data into two partitions because of region. And if you use subject, for hue, it's going to generate, let's say, more than 10 lines, and then put them separately. So, and then data, where is data? Data is fMRI. So can you see that simply you can visualize somehow, beautiful plots, more beautiful plot as compared to matplots. So yeah, this is the only difference, using simple one or using beautiful one. Up to you guys at which one you prefer to use. By the way, this is the session about plots. I guess I'm done here. Yeah, this is about plot. So guys, please make sure to practice these plots, within this week from today till Thursday. And really important, because on Thursday we will practice, tutorial, and we will see, more. We will practice more exercises on Thursday. And why not to practice, these plots visualizations before joining Thursday session? Really important. So, any question, my friends, my silent friends? Okay, file handling. It's, yeah, it's really simple topic. File handling. Okay, it seems there is no question about visualization, so no worries. Okay, let me take you to file handling. So file handling means we can, we want to work with file, because we practice with random data, data collected from end user and so on. But sometimes we have data in a file, in a CSV file, in a text file. So we have to load data and then work with that. If you want to work with Google Colab, you can go through this link. And then you can see how you can load or let's say upload data inside Google Drive. Sorry, inside Google Colab, like uploading from your local file system. Then you have to use, this syntaxes. For Google Drive, you have to use, this one, and so on. Let's do practice. If I see a new notebook. So if you want to mount your Google Drive to Google Colab, you have to use this one from Google Colab here. So from Google Colab, import drive, right? And then you have to say drive.mount. So for mount, guys, here, this one, content, you have to have it as content. You can't change it if you change content, and then it doesn't work. But drive, you can change drive whatever you can put. So content drive. So if you run it, so it's going to ask you connect to Google Drive. It's going to get permission. Yes, this is my account, and then you can permit. Okay, it says mounted. So here, if you refresh here, can you see that drive is here? So if you change it like drive 2, right, it's going to be drive 2. So if I open drive, inside this is my drive. So here is Google Drive. So can you see that these are my files and folders inside my Google Drive? So, and then you can read data, you can write data, you can open data, you know, whatever you want, you can do over your Google Drive. And even if you want to use like a list, ls means, let me see, I guess I have it here. Yeah, ls. So if you want to check, you know, what sort of files and folders are going on, you can use ls. For instance, this one, you can, I mean, expand it and see what is inside. Also, you can, you know, use these 3 dots, click on that. Here it says copy paste, and then ls, paste it, right? And if you run it, it's going to say there are 6 folders inside, you know, this folder. So guys, here you can use, you know, DOS or Linux command like list, like rename, like copy, whatever you can do, you know, over your Google file, your Google Drive files. So we usually have, you know, 4 operations on files: open, read, write, and close. Really simple. Let's take them, you know, one by one. So open, if you want to open a file, you have to say file name and then mode. Mode means, are you going to read the file, write the file, or append the file? You have to decide. So open. So how to open? Upload iso.txt. So if you want, just for quick practice, here I want to have tutorial, this ISO file. I want to drag and drop. Okay. So also you can put it inside your Google Drive. It's up to you that how you want to use that. So ISO file is like, you know, simple text file. Let me change the size of the font. Right, this is the file. This is the file I have. So, and then what you need to do, you need to say file, open, the name of the file, and what you want to do, I want to read the file. So, and then file contains your file. So, and then I have to use for loop for line in file, means this one, and print line. So can you see that is read the file line by line? So as you could understand, open, this one is going to get your file, put it somewhere, for instance, in the file. And how to get access to each line? You have to use for loop to go through, you know, the file line by line. But if you don't want to use it line by line, after using open, you know, this one, there is the method called read, file.read. So simply file.read is going to read your entire file. Simple, right? In this case, you don't need for loop. You can ignore for loop. So either for loop or read. So also it's good to close the file after usage. It's better to close the file and don't open the file for different reason. For instance, maybe someone else is working with data, working with file. Maybe opening the file is like megabyte or gigabyte size of data, and then it's going to make your CPU and memory busy. It's better to close the file after usage. So, but if you say, and if you add a number inside the read method, it's going to say the number of bytes, characters to be read from the file. What does it mean? 20? 20 means 20 character. So if you count these characters, it's going to be 20. Means print out the first 20 characters. And read line. So read line, it says read data line by line. So if you use only, okay, guys, I forgot to say, I said we have to close the file. if you want to ignore typing file.close, you can use this one. With open is like a for loop. It says with open this file as F, then whatever you want, you can do that. It means when your file is open, since your file is open, then print, these two actions and then close the file. So maybe it's easier than using f.close. Again, is up to you that how you want to write that code. So read line means reading lines by lines. So in this case, if you say print f.readline is going to read first line. If you add another one, it's going to print the second line. If you want to print third line, you have to add another print f read line. So maybe useless, but this is a syntax that we need to know that. Also, we have another one, read lines. So read lines is going to read all data in one single string and get it back, to you in one shot. So, but out of read line and read lines and read is most, is better than read line and read lines. This one, read. Also, using for loop is better than. So if you want to work with the file, it's better to use, this one or use, this read one. So let's say if you want to read the first line, yeah, then use read line, because read line read data line by line. Or if you want to have a specific job on each line, yes, in this case again you can use read line. So as I said, depends on your case study. So also error handling we practiced last week. So let's say I wrongly use is.txt. I forgot to add O because my file is iso.txt. So you can use try and except. So try means this is your actual code, your working solution one. But for any reason, if this one doesn't work, we have to go through except. So why we have to use that? Because we can avoid printing error message to end user. So imagine you are working with your Google, your Google Mail, and then you face with system error from Google side. So Google preferred to show you the, let's say the quiet message, not giving you the error message of the system. So it's really unprofessional to do so. So it's better to keep your not all parts of your data, let's say that part that you predict that is going to face with error, right? Then you can put it like this one, because since working with files are, challenging. For instance, the name of the file is wrong. Maybe the path is wrong. Maybe this file doesn't exist, and for these typical reasons that you cannot control them, it's better to put it, inside try and except a block for error handling. And yes, this is the last example. Okay, let's take the last one. Or what I can do. Okay, let's explain here. So I want to read the CSV file. So I have two CSV files. They are also available in Moodle, North Point and South Point. So North Point, this is X and Y, but this is inside the Excel file. And South Point, again, X and Y. So let's see what is that exactly. So here, guys, we can read both of them with open, and also R means read this CSV file. Put it in North and put it inside South. So guys, since I want to get access exactly to X and Y, I want to import CSV library, and then I want to read files as CSV file. And here I'm going to say CSV.reader. North means this one. Delimiter is comma, means separate values by comma. I have two values and it's going to be separated by comma. It's going to be same for south, right? South and north. So then step 2, reading CSV data. So 4 rows in north CSV. So north CSV is, I mean, this file, right? Let me open it. So index 0 and index 1. So index 0 is this one and index 1 is this one, right? And this is x1 and y1. And then here you can print them out. And also you can repeat that for, south file. So why I did that? Because I want to extract values out of the files. And then I want to work with the file, with values. So first of all, you have to open the file. Again, you have to firstly open the file. Since the file is CSV file, I have to say separate values with comma and then take them one by one. So index 0, index 1, and so on. Now I want to calculate the distance. So what is the calculate of distance? So this one came from first input, means north one, and this is from south one. And this is the square, distance that I calculated. So what is that? Let me here say calc is there, right? Calc distance between 2 points. So if I have 2 points, this one and that one, how to calculate the distance, two-dimensional distance? You have to use this formula. Means x2 minus x1, x2 minus x1 power 2, right? So this is what exactly I've did here. X2 minus x1, right? And then power 2. For y2 minus y1, again power 2. So I did here, and this is power 2. At the end, you have to calculate the square root. Can you see that? This is a square root. And here I said d square. So power 0.5 means a square root. And then you can simply calculate the distance. So what does it mean? It means I had the file. So I collected file from somewhere, including, x and y point. So I opened the file, I read the file, I extract data, and then I did this calculation. So I highly recommend you guys, please do practice within, this week. It's important to understand, these syntaxes. Any question we can discuss on Thursday. So write mode. So write mode means I have a file I want to write inside. I'm not going to read that. I want to write that. So that's the reason you have to say W. So file open sample1.txt.w. So if you don't have this file, it's going to create it automatically, right? But if you have it, it's going to open it. So then I'm using file.write. This is the write mode. So \n means go to the next line. Write this one, it allows us to something like this, and \n means go to the next line and then close the file. So okay, we did that. So now we can read the file. How to read the file, guys? Again, you have to use open, but here you have to say R means read. Here we use W means write, but here we use R means read. And here I'm using .read to read the file, print, and this is the print, and then close the file. So can you see that I'm closing the file after using? So simple, I open this file and then write it. Guys, W is going to override, right? Is going to override. It means if this file exists, it's going to open it and then overwrite, these ones. And we have one more we call append. So append means we don't want to override. We want to add items. So I'm opening sample1.txt. I want to append. So append means I want to add input at the end of the line. So sample1 is exactly this one. This file, right? Means open this file and add this one at the end of the line. So this is a new line created by Alder. So can you see that? This is a line created by Alder at the end of the line. So close it, and with this one, you can read that. Simple, right? Because we use, this part to visualize the output.